why is everybody putting up with ads like it's 2010? Like it's 20.
Okay, hello, everyone. How are you all tonight? Who's the handsome MF I'm hearing? It's me, ya boy Hex. Hello. Hello, CRZ. What's up, Opico? How are you all? Gonna be doing some mind stuff today, I think. Methinks. Definitely be going over, or at least we'll try to go over all of the Minds bosses in one stream. Long time, Hex. It's Felix. If you still remember me, of course I remember you. What mines are you at? I'm stuck at 27. I'm cooked. I'm at floor 49 right now. Oh, you guys can't see. Hang on. Blah. I gotta put the background on so y'all can actually see yourselves. All right, chat. Floor 90, and I still haven't seen half the bosses. True. Actually, farming compendium, it's painful. Yes. Compendium farming is very boring, actually. Very, very boring. I'm lacking in mines. I honestly always lack in mines. But I think this year I'm going to definitely try to go for floor 200. I want that because you get a ton of crystals if you hit floor 200 for the first time. I think even if you've already hit floor 200 and you hit floor 200 again, I think you still get like a decent amount of crystals because this stops at, oh geez, this stops at floor 200. If you scroll like all the way down. Okay, so floor 200, and so you see at floor 200 you get 3 crystals, right? But at some of at pretty good amount of intervals throughout all of it, you see that you just get like 3 crystals every time. And then also the missions, for those of you who don't know. Hey, finally caught a stream. What's up, Kiersey Spice? Good to have you. So when you're in your mind screen, if you go to, I think it's, no, what is it, boss list? No, where is it? Is it history? Oh, rewards. Yeah. So I'm on floor 48. And so rewards. I think for the first time, getting up to like certain levels, you get stuff from getting to certain levels. I think it's got to be somewhere else. It's got to be somewhere else. Is it an exchange? No. Guys, am I missing something? Bossless. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you get to certain floors and you beat bosses at certain floors, you get rewards. So like Geo's Agnes. So this is the first time I've ever been able to beat Geo's Agnes thanks to some of the human, demon, and god ascended units that we've gotten. So I've beaten him at a total of floor 80 or floor 48. So as you see, like I get 29 things here, and so basically I'm going to get all this stuff, and you get this for every boss too, and it goes up all the way to floor what? Okay, so floor 109. So it goes all the way to floor 109. So it's good to try to strive for as high of a floor you can. You can stop after floor 109 if you really want to, because I'm pretty sure that's the max. But you get crystals pretty often through this. So like if I just do this right now, like I get 5 crystals just for reaching floor 49. So you probably get more than that. And that's for every single one of these too. Every single one of these people you get them for. Anyways. So let's start going over some of the bosses, shall we? I don't have all of them unlocked. That's the only downside. That's the only downside, is I don't have them all unlocked, so I can't really technically show you them. But these are probably the 4 new bosses, because I haven't seen them yet. But anyways, let's speed run this because there's a lot of bosses to go over. So we're gonna start with this guy. Let me just pull up. Okay. So Oldius. It would be better if half those flux drops were luck gems instead. True. That would be pretty awesome, actually. So Oldius, he has a normal version and a Omega variant to him. So this guy is probably the easiest boss that you'll find in the mines, to be honest. In my opinion, he's the easiest boss. He's just kind of straightforward, just like do damage to him and don't die type of thing. You'll see that is a pretty common trend between most bosses. A friend unit I really have been looking for is Maldora. I've only ever seen him once, and I go through Geo's Agnes quite a bit. True. You'll see a lot of like what's her face? The wolf girl from Eminence in the Shadow. Is her name Delta, I think. You'll see a lot of her in the friends list. She also accomplishes the same thing as Maldora, except the only thing Maldora brings that's better than her is that his super arts cannot be interrupted. So even if he gets like stunned or whatever, he can't get interrupted, so he'll kill Geo's Agnes. But so Oldius, this guy is just straight up do damage to him, don't die. His Omega variant, the only thing that really changes about him other than health is that he can only be afflicted damage to by magic damage. So you can only do magic damage to him. So he negates physical damage. In terms of the drops for these bosses, I will be giving like just a quick like yes or no should you grind for them. So for Oldius's, honestly, no, not really. You don't need to grind for these. If you happen to get them as drops, then cool, but you don't really need to grind for them specifically, though. I don't think they're really worth it, to be honest. But yeah, that's Oldius in a nutshell. Just remember, do damage to him, don't die, and then his Omega version, you can only do magic damage, and then it's pretty much the same thing, just do damage, don't die. Who's next? We are gonna go with Palamecia. So Palamecia is kind of the same as Oldius. Her normal form is, again, just like do damage, don't die. I think she takes more damage during paralysis though. So she takes more damage when you paralyze her. So if you want to kill her pretty quickly, just bring some paralysis and paralyze her, and then she just gets more damage done to her. But you don't need to on the lower floors. So once you hit floor like 40, I think is like where you have to really start like looking at all the bosses gimmicks and start trying to follow those gimmicks. Otherwise it's going to become extremely hard. And so good example is I was fighting a boss earlier, and I think it was like the ice boss, right? The new ice fairy. And I was able to survive it, but because I wasn't following the gimmick, it took me like 4 minutes to clear the floor, and I only got +1. Yeah, I hate that one. So because I wasn't following gimmick and I took so long to beat it, I only got +1 progression in my floor when you're normally supposed to get +50 for every boss feat. So it's around floor 35, 40 is where you really have to start looking at the gimmicks. But yes, Palamecia, just make sure you paralyze. I always skip it. True, I do hate that one too. What's going on? We're going over all of the bosses, or at least as many as we can, and just going over like the gimmicks that hide behind them. Very annoying boss indeed. We'll get to that one in a little bit. She does have an Omega variant, so she has Omega Palamecia. This one can only be damaged by paralysis, so you cannot damage this boss like the Omega version without paralyzing her. So make sure when you're facing the Omega version, you just bring some paralysis. In terms of the equipment, Silent Treasure, so the non-Omega version. So where is it? So the non-Omega version, this is actually one of the best mines equips that you can probably get from the mines. What does it do? What does it do? So this one, it's a 4-star support, and both versions are good. I don't really know what the other one does. It consumes 15% of all allies' current HP, fills all allies' arts gauge by 35, increases all allies' crit damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So that's okay for very niche stuff. Considering it's a 5-star support though, there's just other 5-star items that like are better than this, I guess. There's other 5-star support slots that are better than the Omega version, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad equip, but I wouldn't like grind specifically for the Omega version. If you happen to get it, it's good, but the fact that it takes HP and it only increases by 35, I mean, the crit damage is nice, but you're not always critting. But the non-Omega version of it, it's 4 stars. It increases everyone's art gauge by 50 and then reduces the user's arts gauge by 50. So this one's really good for nuke comps specifically. You probably won't ever use this equip outside of a nuke comp, I'm not gonna lie. And so normally you wouldn't put this on the person that's like doing the damage, or like the person that you need to have the arts gauge for. Just put this on like, I don't know, Shiro, that doesn't really need or no, Shiro doesn't have a natural 4-star, but just put it on like someone who has a 4-star slot that you don't need to get them to like super arts to do the nuke. But it's just like a mini type 0. It's just for a 4-star slot. That's basically it. But yeah, one of the best mines equipped in the mines itself. But that's Palamecia in a nutshell. All right. Where is the bird? There's like a lot of birds. Which one is it? It's this one. This one. So You got 2 mind equips overall. Nice. Grind for more. Grind for more. So, Tanatarus. This one doesn't have an Omega version. And it has like stupid high evasion especially like once you get to the higher floors. This one has like a ridiculously high evasion. So, you can break it to make it lose evasion, I guess. So you can break the boss and it makes it so it can't evade. And then it can't evade during break though. So once the break's over, its evade will come back up. And then it will inflict paralysis and poison, to be honest. Bring some sort of status ailment resistance. It could be specific to paralysis and poison, or you can bring someone like, you know, Human Rimuru uses arts that just gives everyone 100% status ailment res for everything, or you could use True Raz or the crafted version of Raz and bring that as like a 5-star defensive and then just pop it every time it's about to art. But you really just want to nuke this guy, to be honest. So just hit it with some, or break it and then nuke it. This is really only going to be useful for like the higher floors though. When you get to the lower floors, you basically don't have to worry about this guy. You just damage him and he dies, to be honest. His evasion isn't really that high in the lower floors, to be honest. His equipment, I forget what this thing does, to be honest. Oh yeah, so it's 4-star healing and it has a 60-second cooldown, and it cures targets blind and then heals the target's HP by 330 per second for 10 seconds. And then it has a passive that increases users' accuracy by 10%. This is not a good equip, to be honest. You'll probably never, ever, ever use this equip in your life. There are just other 4-star healing equips that are just much better. I'm gonna murder that bird. Fighting it on JP is a pain, true. But yeah, its equip isn't worth farming for. So if you happen to get it, cool. But don't specifically farm this boss for it. But yeah, that's him in a nutshell. Just break him and then do a lot of damage to him. Don't die. And bring paralysis and freeze res. Alrighty. The dragon. This guy. So the dragon Degel Magna. I hate the pronunciation of it. So this guy is basically just do damage, don't die. He does have a feint though that can happen, so just be wary of that. And most of the time it'll happen like towards the start of the stage. So wait for him to feint your team first before you spam all of your super arts or whatever you're spamming, because if you spam all of them, good chances are, like, as soon as you're done spamming them, before you can even get them off, you're probably gonna get feinted. So just wait his feint out, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, he does do a lot of damage, critical damage specifically. So just bring someone who can negate that, and then after his feint, he's pretty easy on pretty much all floors. Just do a lot of damage to him and he dies. But yeah, that's basically him in a nutshell. His equip is another just kind of, you can ignore this equip. It has a 15-second cooldown on a 4-star magic, which might sound pretty cool, but all it does is 60% chance to burn the enemy, and then it decreases the user's defense by 30% though. So there's just other burn equips out there that just do this without the backlash. In high floors is different. Not entirely. I mean, he gets like more defense on higher floors, but at that point you just do more damage to him, to be honest. But yeah, he really just, the only bad thing about him is his feint attack, like at the beginning. So as long as you just wait out the feint attack, it doesn't really matter what floor you're on. You just gotta do enough damage to him. The higher the floor, the higher amount of damage you have to do to him, though. But just nuking this boss is fine. But yeah, his equip is not really worth farming, though. It's just kind of a crappy 4-star magical equip. Oh, yeah. Okay. B3. B3. Where are you, big guy? Hey. Silto just makes everything go on easy mode. True. I hear Silto's pretty freaking nuts in the mines. I'm not gonna lie. Who is it? Cheesy? Pitied him, I'm pretty sure. I don't have Silto. I got shafted. Me too. Don't beat yourself up over it too much. All right, so B3. He has a normal version and an omega version. So he possesses light and dark killer, so don't bring any light or dark units into this fight unless you like know you can just insta kill it. Because if he swaps you on the higher floors, if he even like swaps you once, your light and dark units are probably gonna insta die, to be honest. On the lower floors, it's not that bad. Like you can pretty much tank the hits from him, like if you let him hit you. But once you get past like, 50, 60, like if he hits your light or dark units, they're probably gonna die almost immediately, even with a shield up on them, because the killer of a certain element or species goes through shield, I'm pretty sure. He also has pretty high water, fire, and earth resistance. So really the only way you want to fight this guy in the higher floors, at least. What's up, Jer? How are you? Welcome to the stream. The only way you want to fight this guy in the higher floors, on the higher floor specifically, is water nuking him, to be honest. Once you water nuke him, he has no resistance to it, and he has no water killer, so it's pretty simple with that. So just bring like, oh god, like Holka and who is he? The Ascended Fen, Holy Knight Roy, and you'd probably be able to nuke him pretty easily. I'm pretty good, Jer. Thank you for asking. Other than that, though, it's just do a lot of damage to him with water specifically. You can kill him with earth, fire, and water, but you just got to do like more damage, I guess. So you got to bring more buffs. You got to bring more debuffs. Oh, what's up, Turbid? Turbid! Long time no see. But other than that, this boss is probably one of the easiest bosses in the mines. You just got to do a lot of damage to him and don't bring light or dark units. He also possesses one of the most sought after and broken equips in the mines. So B3 Claw, specifically the normal version. What is it? So B3 Claw Grief is what it's called, is a 4-star physical. It uses 25% of the user's HP, but increases their attack by 30% and increases their arts gauge by 2 per second for 10 seconds, and the skill CT is 10 seconds. So this has by default 100% uptime with no CT down, which is really good for just a consistent 30% buff and 2 arts per second. You got to be careful though, because you can easily kill your units with this if you don't have a good healer on your team when using it. But other than that backlash though, if you have a good healer, which most of the time you can just get away with like Parlot or something, then this is definitely one of the best equips in the mines. So definitely farm this definitely farm this boss for sure. His Omega version, I forget if his Omega version's different. Oh yeah, his Omega version's actually really different. So his Omega version has Taunt Killer, and then he inflicts disease, and then oh geez. So he deals like, so his Omega version's pretty tough. So his Omega version has Taunt Killer, disease res down, inflicts disease, and then hits your team with a fixed 5,000 HP damage 2 times during his fight. So honestly, if you see B3 Omega's version, I would just skip him, to be honest. I mean, you can, so his Omega version is still like, just do damage to him before you die, but I wouldn't even it's not even worth fighting the Omega version, so just skip the Omega version. His Omega equip isn't even that great either. Well, it's 10-second cooldown, non-elemental damage physical, costs 30% of users' max HP, reduces enemies' physical resistance by 10% for 30 seconds. That is a horrible exchange. Horrible exchange. Have I gotten any of the new units? No, unfortunately, we got shafted. I'm hoping during the resets that we don't get shafted. But yeah, regular B3, fight every time you see it because you want this equip. All right, who's next? Oh, the light dragon. This guy. For real. Have you fought Sitiara? I don't know how to say that. Who is that? Princess Regade. Heck nah, skip. So he has arts damage resistance, this guy. So this Radiant Dragon, Frost Radius. So with Stairden's comment in the chat, yes, most of the time at a higher level you can skip this boss, but that's pretty much the only gimmick he has to him, is he just has high arts damage resistance. So you basically want to equip nuke this guy. That's about it. He also spams paralysis, so bring paralysis resistance. So if you have paralysis resistance and you have really high damage equipment that you can bring to just nuke him with, then you should be good on basically any level, but he's not worth farming. I mean, he's worth beating just to get on to the next level, but I wouldn't go out of your way to farm this boss. Satira is the Ice Wilks. Yes. I have fought her and I don't like her. I guess if we end up getting to her in this stream, then I will explain why I don't like fighting her. But yeah, anyways, for this guy, you can basically equip nuke him at any floor. At the lower floors, you can still arts nuke him, like, so you can use your super arts against him. His resistance isn't that high on lower floors, but once you get up to like floor 60, 70, 80, you're going to want to equip nuke him with really high damage equips, and then bring paralysis res. His equipment is not worth farming, but I will tell you what it does. Where are you? So it's a 4-star magic with a 45-second cooldown. Reduces both allies and all enemies status ailment resistance by 20% for 10 seconds. That's it. Really, really horrible equip. I don't even know why this equip exists. So easy skip. Easy skip. Or I should say easy, don't farm him. All right, who's next? Maldora, the plant boss. Easy boss. Easy, easy, easy boss. So easy. All he is just kill him. So he has high crit has high crit res, but he never has over 100%. So if you bring Polka or someone with crit resistance down, or you bring defense ignore, so Maldora, he's just the easiest boss. Just do damage to him that's not crit, and you win. That's that. You can do physical damage and you can do magic damage however you want. Maldora is key here. or the wolf lady from Eminence in the Shadow. It's all about the nuke. Yes, it's all about the nuke. He has an Omega version. His Omega version is literally the same exact thing as his normal version. Just defense ignore nuke, or just don't crit nuke. So easy boss. His equips though, however, let's go over his equips. Where are you? So his normal version, it's 4-star magic with a 40-second cooldown, has 50% chance to inflict poison on enemies, and then reduces own damage resistance by 20% for 20 seconds. Not really great. His Omega version, however, is a 5-star magic attack, or 5-star magic equip with a 60-second cooldown, and it consumes own arts gauge by up to 50, but increases own attack and earth damage by 80% for 15 seconds, which is nutty for a magic equip. That's 160% damage buff that you're getting for a unit like Maldora or like War God Fen, but War God Fen can't equip this equip, so he doesn't matter. So like a unit like Maldora, the Omega version equip would go absolutely nutty on Maldora. Absolutely nutty. Where is his Omega version? Have I not unlocked him? Okay, I haven't unlocked him, so I can't show you, but yeah, definitely farm his Omega version, this guy. So just farm his Omega version. Super easy, even on the higher floors. Again, just no crits, defense ignore nuke. Farm the Omega version. That's it. Hate the plant boss. I gotten the equips from the older version so many times. I'll let everyone, this, if you don't want to go through hell, skip Omega. Citra floor 227 took almost 19 in-game minutes. Holy. Bring out the Grand Summoner's database. True. All right, let's move on. Since we have a little bit more to go. Ogetsu. Or Ugetsu. Is that how you say the name? It's the fox one. Where are you, fox? Am I blind? Hello? Blind? Right here. So the fox Ugetsu. So this one, let's see. So this one switches between fire and dark. That's right off the bat, is just something that it does. It negates all damage taken from the same element. So if you're bringing fire units or dark units to this, just make sure you're doing damage with the opposite element that it currently is. So if it's fire, do damage with your dark unit, or just anything that's not a fire unit. If it's dark, do any damage with a unit that's not dark. So basically, if you really want to have like an easy time with this, you could just bring a earth nuker like Maldora. You can bring a water nuker like Roy, and then light nuker. There are not really a lot of light nukers, but that new guy, the Kenshin guy, it's a new quip if I remember. I think it's, yeah, I mean, it's relatively squishy. Like, it doesn't have a lot of HP, so you technically could nuke it with equips. That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I'll try that one day. But yeah, it's super squishy other than that dumb mechanic, though. Bring status ailment resistance, specifically disease or freeze. Or no, sorry. If you inflict it with disease or freeze, you do more damage to it. And it hits pretty hard. So just nuke it before it nukes you, I guess. Or bring someone like Shiro who can tank it. Its Omega version is literally the same thing as its normal version. It just has more health and does more damage and has like a 30% HP threshold nuke. So its Omega version, just bring Shiro. come on, I know I faced the Omega version. So yeah, for the Omega version, just make sure you have a tank on the team for the 30% threshold nuke. It does like a lot more damage in the Omega version, but if you have a good enough tank like Shiro, then you should be able to tank it. In the Omega version, again, it's the same thing. Just do damage to it, and take note of its fire and dark elemental swaps, because it'll negate whatever its current element is for damage. In terms of the equips, you can't Siger as well as a nuke. Oh yeah, that's right. That's true. But you can't use that equips. Yeah, Siger can't use that many equips. As for the equips for this boss, what are we? Where are we? So it's non-Omega equip. It's 4-star magic, and it has a 15-second cooldown. And every time it's used, it permanently reduces own damage resistance by 10% up to 5 times, but also reduces enemies' damage resistance by 15% for 15 seconds. So the damage res down to the enemy is not permanent and probably not stackable, but the damage to yourself is stackable. So honestly, not that great of an equip unless you're using it to nuke. But even then, like, there are other equips that are just that give a higher buff to yourself. Why do Vilcockert and Veslendeth look the same? I'm not sure. Not sure, to be honest. So this Omega equip, so this guy's Omega equip, it's a 5-star magical, a 15-second cooldown, and then consumes own arc gauge by 20 and own HP by 20%. And then if your HP is higher than 20%, so if you're just healthy, it reduces the enemy's fire and dark damage by 6% for 40 seconds, and it is stackable. So if you're doing like a long fight and you use this equipment, so it's on a 15-second cooldown without any CT down, you'll get 6% of fire and dark damage res down on the boss for 40 seconds, and you can stack that as many times as you want. There's no limit. But just remember, every time you use it, it reduces your arc gauge by 20 and your HP by 20%. So be sure to counter that. In terms of farming, I wouldn't farm either of these equips. If you get them, cool. They're cool equips. They're used for very niche things, but I wouldn't go out of your way to farm these. But overall, the boss is pretty easy. All right, who's next? Ya boy Ifrit. Ya boy Ifrit. The big bad. Where is he? Am I blind? Am I blind? Is this Ifrit? Yes. Okay, so this is Ifrit. So his stage is really annoying in mines. Honestly, Ifrit's kind of a hot skip. He has the Hell Flare on his mines. So unless you have something to combat that, like Hazuki, which you can get from Unit of Choice, it's going to be pretty hard as a new player, unless there is one other way, and Paperboy did just say it. So if you bring a high damage nuker like Summer Miyu with a lifesteal equip on, you can out heal the damage that gets done back to you during the nuke. If you do that, you can pretty much nuke this guy very easily on almost every stage. Bring some sort of cleanse though, especially on the higher stages, because he does immediately take 50% of your HP away when you get to his like stage, and he inflicts burn on everyone. So just make sure you bring someone who can cleanse and heal. So Holy Knight, Fenrir, and then other than that though, it's just easy nuke. Just bring Summer Miyu. If not, I'm telling you, there are a fuck ton of like friend units that. You will never not see a Summer Mew with a lifesteal equip on the friend board. I have my Summer Mew on the friend board with a lifesteal equip. So just use like a Mind's Friend unit if you don't have Summer Mew. Or Jay with Goblin Slayer too. Like anyone that just does like a high amount of damage that can also equip a lifesteal item. If you have a high damage unit that has a 5-star magic slot, go pick up Exceed's X from the True Weapon exchange ticket that has lifesteal on it. You don't even need to level it all the way up. It just has 3% lifesteal, and then just make sure you do enough damage and you'll out heal this guy. His Omega version is pretty much the same thing, just don't use magic damage. But I mean, most of the people who will nuke this guy will not use magic damage. Magic damage is actually not really great for nuking. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. And then the Omega version, the only difference is he reduces everyone's HP to 20% instead of 50. So you guys will be like in the danger zone. So just if you face his Omega version, just remember, bring cleanse and heal. That's it. And then just nuke him. But his equips, let's see what his equips do. I actually don't know his equips because I never got them. And if I do have them, I've never used them. So his regular version, 4-star defense, has a 40-second cooldown and reduces target crit resistance by 50%, and then negates damage taken for a total of 1000 for 15 seconds. So a useless equip. I would not farm his standard equip. His Omega version equip, it's 5-star defense with a 60-second cooldown, and then reduces target's attack by 100% and negates damage taken for a total of 8,000 for 20 seconds. Again, another useless equip. Quick question, guys, is it worth it to 120 luck my Holka? Because I want to 300 luck my BFM, but I don't know what to do. Yeah, I agree with Paperboy. Just for Holka or any other crossover unit that doesn't have luck gems attached to them, then I would just do luck 60 for the 3rd crest slot and then stop there. Because Holka's good, but if you're pretty much gonna always have another 120 luck or at least 80 luck on your team. So he's probably not gonna be worth luck 120ing. But I mean, feel free to do what you want though. But I agree with Paperboy, it's not worth. Alright, who's next? Garm, the dogs, the wolfmans, the Cerberus. Not Cerberus, because Cerberus is what, 3 heads? This is 2. So Garm, the 2-headed hound. Awa awa. You have Odious and Ifrit. Nice. Okay, so this guy, okay, let's see what he does. Oh, I see. So other than him doing high damage, and having really potent burn and fainting, it's just bring status res and nuke him. Basically, bring a tank with you on the higher levels, but on the lower levels, it's just kind of do damage to him before he does damage to you. He hits pretty hard, so on the higher levels, definitely bring a tank of some sort, and then bring status res, specifically burn. But on the lower floors, you can just kind of nuke him. I'm not gonna lie. His normal equip is actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is the one that's pretty good. Where is he? The Blaze Coil Anulis. It's a 4-star physical, and then it doesn't really do anything, but it has a passive where it reduces the break power of the unit that has it equipped by 100%, but increases their physical damage by 25%. So the passive is really what you want to have this equipped for. So you equip this on someone like Summer Mew, and they're gonna hit 25% harder. which is insane for just a passive 4-star equip. That doesn't drain your HP like Grief does. But yes, it's very, very good for nukes, for sure. The Omega version of the doggo, where are you? Garm. The Omega versions of the dogs, have I even beat them? Yes, if I've beaten them, then they should be pretty easy. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, so he's basically the same thing, just buffed. So he just hits harder and his burn's way more potent. So his burn is it goes from 100 ticks to 750 ticks per second. It's like you get a multiple of them per second, sorry. So it's just his burn's much more potent. So his Omega version, again, it's just another nuke, bring a tank, and bring burn res. That's it. Other than that, he's pretty easy to nuke, even at the higher floors. So Doggo's good. Tank, burn res, nuke. That's it. His Omega variant of the weapon. So his Omega weapon. Let's see, 5-star physical, 75-second cooldown, has no direct skill, but the passive increases users' fire damage by 50% for 50 seconds at the start of the quest. Reduces the user's stats by 50% only once, though. So I don't know if that's a good trade out. I know that like specific damage buffs, so like fire damage buff, I think still outweighs the 50% attack reduced. So I think it still outweighs that, but not by much. So honestly, not really a good equip. So if you see this guy in the higher levels, you can skip him. No need to farm his equip though. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Radius, or Radis, the plant lady. I'm gonna take my revenge because that 2-headed beast murdered me in Summoner's Road. Nice. Radis. So with this boss, you basically just want to burn. Bro, I just fought the light dragon 6 times in a row. Oof, actually. So, you want to burn her. She takes 60% more damage while burned. She does do pretty hard crit damage though if she manages to poison your units, so bring some sort of status res for that. She gains actually 100% crit damage against poison enemies, so really bring some status res for it. But other than that though, you just want to burn her and then nuke her. That's it. She does have shield killer, so even at the higher floors, like, just don't bring someone who has shield. Bring someone who does damage mitigation. So like Sandstone would be pretty good there. Even Shiro's Shiro during his Unlimited Blade Works gives 30% passive DR up to everyone. So you could also bring him and just not use his shield and just use his Unlimited Blade Works, but don't use his shield because then he'll die. But other than that, it's just straight burn her and then nuke her. That's it. And then just bring some poison res. Her Omega version, where is her Omega version? So her Omega version, she's pretty much the same, except at the start. You gotta go. I gotta go have a repo session. Bye. Oh, see you later, stairs then. Bye-bye. So her Omega version is pretty much the same, except at the beginning of the fight, she will use both her normal arts and then her true arts immediately after. But other than that, It's generally the same thing, just damage emit, bring status resistance, and burn her and then nuke her. Simple as that. Like I said at the beginning of all this, a lot of these bosses are just going to be the same kind of like do damage to them before they do damage to you. It's just some of them have certain gimmicks to allow you to do damage to them. But yeah, so... Oh, we didn't even go over her equips. Wait, hang on. Where is she? So her normal equip, I know off the bat, is a 4-star heal. It, oh god. I know it, but now I'm forgetting it because I have to tell people it. So it's a 60-second cooldown, and then it heals all allies HP by 30%, but reduces all allies status res by 50%. The only reason you'd want to use this over like Flower Cane is because of the passive increases the user's attack by 10%, but that passive's not really great. You just got a burst? No way, Paperboy. Fucking grats, actually. Congrats. But yeah, so her normal variant, cool if you get it, but wouldn't farm it unless you really just wanted to collect it. It's just a worse Flower Cane, to be honest. The Omega version's equip is a 5-star magic with a 25-second cooldown, and it heals targets HP by 100%. Each time after this equip is used, reduce the heal amount of this equip by 30% up to 90% down. So again, super niche. I mean, it's not a horrible 5-star equip, to be honest, but it's so niche. It's ridiculously niche. So I would not farm this boss, to be honest. If you see her, just nuke her to get past the stage, but just don't farm her. Bro, what the fuck? I got 2 4+ runs this entire half off, then I get a burst when... What is Yamapi doing? True. I'm suffering with Compendium. Hope to finish Compendium in 4 weeks. Yeah, I have to do Compendium too. I need my Valentine's Day Priscilla to be luck 300 for sure. All right. Good news is we're about halfway done with the bosses. Okay, who? Redacne, the spider lady. So super high defense, negates crit, and then you basically can only damage this lady with defense ignore. How many floors do you have left? I'm currently at floor 49. But there's I think there's a total of 500 floors or something like that. But you really only get rewards by going up to 200. Oh, you reminded me to farm this equip. Same. Need this for nuke. Yeah, good for you being on floor 49. Continue. Get up to floor 109 and then fight all the bosses, and then you get all the rewards. Okay, so Redacne. Defense ignore. Other than defense ignore, you basically want to nuke her. Sustaining her is pretty hard. She just inflicts curses and seals left and right, which basically makes your units useless. And then she has a crit rate buff, so she can do crit damage to you. So honestly, just sustaining her is just really not worth. So you can use OG Miyu that has magic defense ignore, no crit, or you can use Maldora, which you can maybe find in the friend unit. Other than that, I don't know if there's any freebie units that do defense ignore, unfortunately. But you usually see OG Miyu in the friends list, like fairly often. But other than that, though, like on the lower floors, she's okay. Like you can farm her perfectly fine on the lower floors. She doesn't have complete defense ignore or like negation, I guess, or complete damage negation. Just don't crit her. But on the lower floors, you can definitely still just like out damage her. Just make sure you just do a lot of damage if you don't have defense ignore. Both of her equips are some of the best equips in the mines, so you definitely do want to farm this lady as much as you can, even if it's on the lower floors. That like if you can only beat her on the lower floors because you don't have defense ignore, then do that, because both of her equips are insanely good. Her normal equip is a 4-star support. It gives everyone on the team oh gosh, again, another like I have to give you the explanation of it, so I forget what it does. So it consumes 50% of the user's HP, but increases all allies crit rate by 120%. So it goes past 100%, so you can still use it against bosses that have 100% crit resistance. So it's pretty good. If anyone wants to see if I capped or not, I'll put in the flex channel on Hex's server. Nice. I haven't played much mines because since 1 week I've consistently farming compendium. Oh, true. She does have an Omega version. So, where is she? Where is Mia Omega version? Have I just not fought her Omega version? Okay, so she has an Omega version. Let's go back to her. So her Omega version, it's just the same as her normal version. It's just she gains additional damage negation buff, so then her Omega version like requires you to have defense ignore. It's not like the normal version where she just has super high defense. You just like kind of have to have defense ignore with her Omega version. Other than that though, she just hits harder, inflicts disease, and seal more often. So just again, nuke her with a defense ignore unit. Her Omega version equipped though, like in my opinion, is like the most broken equip in this game. Now that we have units like Summer, Luvia, and Rin, who if you get them to low enough HP, then they inflict their passive where they heal everyone and they give everyone 200 arts gauge. Also, I got an alert for something. What do we get an alert for? Wait, what did we get an alert for? I don't want to like miss someone's donation. If they did. Hang on, I gotta see what just happened. I don't know what we got an alert for, and I feel bad. If someone just donated to me, thank you. I can't see your alert, but if someone donated to me, thank you. If someone followed, thank you. If someone subbed, thank you. Whoever you are, thank you. I can't see it on my end for whatever reason, but thank you to you, person. I will figure out who you are and I will shout you out in a video, actually. Spates Moody, are you the one who donated or super chatted? Thank you, Spates Moody. For whatever you get, or the sub. Thank you for the sub. I don't know why my alerts aren't working. Interesting. I like hear the sound, but I can't see what the alert is. But thank you for subbing. I appreciate you 100%. But yeah, so her Omega versions equip, it uses 99% of the user's HP, so it leaves them with 1% HP, and it increases target's arts gauge by 120. So on a unit like Summer, Luvia, and Rin, or any other unit that has a passive that like once they get into the red health, then like they heal everyone or they give everyone arc gauge, this is really good equip to nuke with. It's used a lot in nuke comps with Summer, Rin, and Luvia, or Luvia and Rin. What's up, Komochi? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, you definitely want to farm both the normal version and the Omega version of Redacne. Again, defense ignore, defense ignore, defense ignore, and a lot of damage. All right, the machine, the machine person. Code XTF. I actually didn't know that was its name. I didn't know that was its name. I just always called it the robot. So the robot, it's just basically Nukem, but at the end, you need to have someone that can tank his end nuke. So when you nuke him, once he has like no HP left, he has a 0 HP nuke, and it hurts. It hurts. So bring damage res, bring a tank that can tank it. So Shiro, or I don't know, someone who can tank it. I'm pretty sure Gerald works here. Actually, if you wanna freebie option, Gerald works here. So let me see. Let me show you who I'm talking about. He's from Unit of Choice. He's from Unit of Choice. Gerald definitely works here. Where is he? Where are you, Gerald? No. Why did you just go? Hold on. Bear with me. I know I just posted a video of like top 5 like Unit of Choice, and I kind of like shat on Gerald a tiny bit. But Gerald is like low-key kind of broken as like a new player tank, but he's only broken in super specific scenarios. This guy. So this guy actually can tank the robot's end nuke because he has a revival effect. His actual like barrier negation, I mean 15,000 is still pretty good for like a beginner tank, but he has a revival effect, which means when he dies, or quote dies, he doesn't actually die, he gets to 1 HP, and then for what is it, for like 10 seconds or something, so Sacrifice and Resolution survives with 1 HP only once, and then auto recovers HP by 50%, and then Arts Gauge maxed out. So, and this lasts for, I believe it's like 5 or 10 seconds. So he basically, what that means is Gerald will become invincible for 5 to 10 seconds when he gets to 1 HP, which is long enough to survive the robot's end nuke. 1 second invulnerable? Is it really only 1 second? I could have sworn it's a lot more than 1 second. Are you sure it's only 1 second? Really? I could have sworn it feels so much longer than 1 second. It feels like it's like 5 seconds. Maybe it is only 1 second. But either way, I've tested it out before, not on the Mines version, but on like the standard like Giant Boss version, he can survive the nuke. Where are we? Mines. So back to the boss list, back to the robot. So if you want a freebie version to survive the end nuke, just bring Gerald. And he can survive it. I think like 90% of the time he can survive it. Other than that though, he is just like nuke him and then survive the end nuke. And then his Omega version is literally the same thing. Just nuke him, survive the end nuke, except his end nuke just does a lot more freaking damage. Again, I'm pretty sure Gerald can survive even the I'm pretty sure Gerald can survive the end nuke even of the Omega version. And yes, Ghost Gamer is right. If he doesn't die before you get to the end HP nuke, but that's why you want to nuke him though. So sustaining him is not really great. So just straight up nuke. Geo Zagnus, the fucking man himself. The man the man that like terrorized minds for like since the game's been out. This man's terrorized the minds. Like, no, if you didn't have Deadmaster, which is a old crossover unit that never came back, if you don't have Deadmaster, you could not beat this guy at all. What's up, Antonio? Well, boys, I'm gonna go play some Rivals. Enjoy the rest of your night, fellows. Thank you for joining. Bry's a new player. He's destroying me. Okay, so this guy, I don't even have to like look at his BS mechanics that I have pulled up on my second screen. I don't even have to look at him, because I can tell you, if you have a god, human, or demon unit, he just insta kills them at any floor. You could find this guy on floor 20, the earlier, right? So you could find this guy on literally the lowest floor possible. He was still one shot all your units if they are human, god, or demon. So what you do is, now that we have units that aren't those, if you're lucky enough, I will say, because not a lot of people will, especially if you came to GS just for Kenshin, you're not going to have any non-human god or demon units. So you want to like pray. You want to pray to the heavens that the friend minds unit list will have like a non-human DPS on it, like Delta or Maldora. Maldora shreds this guy. Maldora absolutely fucking mollywops this guy, by the way, because Maldora's super arts cannot be interrupted. And so what a lot of people have struggles with this guy, even if you have someone like Delta on your team that's not a human, god, or demon, like she's a beast unit and she does a lot of damage and she does defense ignore. But what a lot of times you're going to struggle with is he has a grab mechanic and a stun mechanic. So if you super arts with someone like Delta and he grabs her, like as soon as you art, like she's like, her arch is done, like arch gauge gone, no damage dealt. But with a unit Maldora, his super arts, as soon as you pop it, even if he gets grabbed or stunned or paralyzed or frozen, his super arts still procs. Like the entire thing just still goes off, and it absolutely melts Geo's Agnes. The other thing he does too is, someone said it in the comments, Antonio, his poison is pretty potent, and then his damage, his like stupid, he shoots these stupid little like bomb things, those are pretty damaging too. So if you can't nuke him but you still have like a non-human demon god unit to do damage, try to bring someone who can tank him. There's not really many who can tank him besides Beta, which is a spirit unit. So you really just want to pray that you get Maldora as a friend unit. You really want to like pray. Other than that, like he's just a really shitty boss to go against. Even if you have everything to face him, he's still a shitty boss to go against. His Omega version, just don't even. His Omega version is just his normal version on crack. Just, if you see the Omega version, don't. The other thing on top of that is I really think that like GS put him in the mines just to troll, because both his standard equip and his Omega equip suck nuggets. They are the worst equips that you can get in the mines. The worst equips. So it's not even worth farming him. It's not even worth beating him. Nothing. His equips are ass. His equips, let's see what they do. So his non-Omega variant, 4-star physical, has a 45-second cooldown. For 10 seconds, consumes 3% of max HP It increases own damage and water damage by 20%. So you get a whopping 40% damage up. Man, that is not worth. His Omega version is a 5-star physical that has no skill but the ability, so his passive is increases own water damage by 50% for the first 50 seconds of the quest, but it consumes consistently 5% of your own max HP per second, period. There's no time limit on it, just the duration of the quest. It will consistently consume 5% of your max HP per second. Again, another garbage equip. So if you see this guy, pray that you get Maldora. If you see his Omega version, skip it. Not worth. So basically, friend will carry. Yes. People sleep on his poison. His hammers. Yes. Airstella, Woken, Beta, Maldora, Alpha, Clap, the Omega version. Yeah, it's just still annoying, and the equip's not worth it. So I just don't see, unless you want to go for just completion, I guess, for like the rewards that you get, like you can try to attempt his Omega version, but other than that, like it's just not worth farming him for his equips. At least I have Delta. Not even worth it. Yep. All right, who do we have? We're almost done, actually. We only have a few more bosses to go. Wilkies. My favorite and least favorite boss of the mines. Wilkies. Okay, so I see on Reddit and on like comments and stuff like that a lot that people struggle with this boss. So for Wilkies, so she has Reflect and Lifesteal, and then Arts Drain Res, I guess is the correct terminology. That basically all bosses have, right? So that's just standard. You need to blind her in order to deal like any damage to her. Otherwise, she takes like very, very, very literal, like very little damage, I guess I should say. So you need to inflict with blind. On the lower floors, it's not really as needed, but once you get to the higher floors, you just need to inflict blind and then just nuke her. She's easy to kill. Use Hajime's super arts and a healer. Does his super arts inflict blind? Is that why you suggest that? I don't know who Hajime is. I'm not gonna lie. I think I know who he is, but I could be wrong. Let's actually look him up. We have the thing. Hajime. Oh, okay. So he's I see. Okay, so he's the new unit. Duh. So he's the new unit. So if you are lucky enough to get Hajime, then you can definitely use him against this. But if you aren't lucky enough, like I am, bring blind. On the higher floors anyways. Okay, so the one gimmick that I think a lot of people struggle with her is she negates autofill art gauge. So if you bring equips and units that have any sort of autofill, she'll negate it, and then she'll actually drain everyone's art gauge past the effects of the auto. So to combat this, you bring units that give burst art gauge. So if you see a unit that says like gives all allies 50 arts gauge, not 10 arts gauge over 5 seconds. No, if they give 50 arts gauge flat, no generation. As long as you do that, she doesn't actually ever, it like the procking of it never triggers. So the arts gauge degradation never procs if you bring bursts, I guess. So That's what a lot of people struggle with her though, is because they don't tell you that. And like almost every unit in the game, every support, every equip is all like arch gauge over this amount of seconds. And as soon as you trigger any of those, she just depletes everyone's arch gauge. But if you bring, if you just bring all, like flat arts bursts, then that will never proc, at least on her normal version. On her Omega version, I think she, oh no, her normal version, when she gets to 30 HP, she drains everyone's arch gauge by 100, but other than that, you're fine. And then her Omega version is literally the same as her normal version, except at the 30% threshold, it drains everyone's arch gauge by 200 instead of 100. She also does a lot of damage. She has, so when you get to 30% HP, she has this nuke that does like a shit ton of damage. So if you're sustaining her, then you're gonna want, I think you can only sustain her because I think she halts damage at the 30% nuke, actually. So you just need to bring someone who can tank the nuke at the end. It does a lot of damage. But yeah. Doesn't Omega do overtime drain? Oh yeah, she actually does. So so I knew there was something else that was different about her Omega version. Yeah, so her Omega version, I think, just consistently arch drains, like drains the arts. So you just gotta bring enough burst arts that you can pop at the same time that are on low cooldown, for equips slash skills slash arts or whatever. Something that you can spam a lot. You just got to bring a lot of burst arts, and then when everyone gets up there in the arts gauge from your burst arts, then you do the damage, wait till your equips or whatever are off cooldown, and then spam all of them again, do damage. Voltia LR can tank this, you think? Probably. If you bring light res down, or light res up on him, for sure. But yeah, thank you for reminding me. That is the key difference between the standard Wilks and the Omega Wilks, is don't bring Arch Gen over time, bring burst Arch Gen and a good tank and light res. Her equipment, actually. So for her normal version, it's a 4-star physical, has a 90-second cooldown, and faints user for 5 seconds. That's it. That's the skill. It faints your unit for 5 seconds, but increases your own skill CT by 5%. Trash equip. Trash equip. This has got to be one of the worst mine equips. Next to Geozagnis. I can't even click on the ones I haven't beaten. What? Wait, how did I beat Omega Geozagnis? When did I beat him? So her Omega version equip, it's a 5-star physical, 45-second cooldown. Autofills arts gauge by 3 a second, and increases physical damage by 30% for 20 seconds, and then faints the user for 5 seconds. And then with the passive, increases own attack by 10%. Not as nearly as horrible as her 4-star variant, but still really wouldn't use this like at all. Like at all. I mean, it's probably good somewhere. It's probably good somewhere, but it's very niche, I guess. But not nearly as bad as the 4-star. All right, who is next? Oh, it's the Black Dragon. I don't even want to pronounce his name. Where are you, Black Dragon? This guy. Villakurtz. So this one's just nuke. He has a 30% HP nuke that does a lot of damage, and he also gains crit rate and damage up at the 30% mark. So just bring someone who can tank it at the later depths. But well, other than that, like his normal variant is just just nuke it, I guess. Just nuke him. His Omega version, surprisingly, is literally just the same thing. The only thing you want to note with this boss is you want to bring poison and blind resistance, or just standard resistance to everything. So just bring, like, okay, so really good free equip for everyone. It's a 5-star defense, and it will pretty much like negate everything that the bosses do to you status wise in the mines. Is Raz. So not the true version. I mean, you can get the true weapon version, but it's not really needed, because if you go to, where is it? If you go to your equips, and then you go to crafting, you should have this if you've completed like all of your side story stuff, and then gotten past chapter 5. It's Sacred Crown Raz. So this, so if can we hold? Can we click and hold on this? Why can't I? Okay, I'm gonna have to show this in compendium, I guess. OMG, town. Bear with me. Equips. Can we search here? Raz. Hello? Okay. Oh, that's why. So if we look at it fully leveled up, which again, you can craft this pretty much for free. Anyone can do it. From literally like the very early stages of Grand Summoners, like of your time here. You can craft this almost immediately, and it reduces all damage taken by 15%, which is pretty okay for a free defensive equip, and then completely evades burning, freezing, curse, seal, poison, darkness, paralysis, and disease. It says completely evades it, not increases the resistance to it. So you literally will not, no matter how much like resist down you get, it will completely evade it for 10 seconds. So you just use that whenever the boss is about to like inflict some sort of status ailment on you, and you will always evade it 100%. That is a very easy free equip to cheese the mines with, and you can craft more than one of them, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to have 2 of them. For status ailments, yes, Raz is the best defense. And actually, I think it's better than its true weapon variant, because its true weapon variant, where is it? Easy to get as well. Yes, extremely easy. Like, I'm pretty sure every single player in the game, like as soon as they are done with chapter 5, like I'm pretty sure you can craft that equip like almost immediately. Where's its true weapon variant? I'm pretty sure its true weapon variant is worse for status ailments. Where is it? Oh no. Okay, so its true variant actually negates it all as well. Never mind. I thought its true weapon variant only gave 100% resistance, but no. So its true weapon variant is still just as good, but why waste a ticket on the true weapon variant if you can just easily craft the non-true weapon variant? You know what I mean? So anyways, that is very powerful equip in the mine to cheese a lot of stuff in terms of status res. So, and you can craft multiple of them. Remember that. So you can have like 3 Razes on your team and just pop them all separately throughout the fight. Okay, so yeah, the dragon, just nuke him, bring res and like status res, and then be able to withstand its 30 HP nuke. Is there a specific support that removes feint? No, not that I know of. Someone else might be able to like tell you right off the bat. I don't know enough about like every single equip in the game. unfortunately, to say whether or not there is one, but I'm almost positive there's no equip out there so far. How do you obtain the Divine Arachnid's tier equipment? You have to farm her. So you just have to farm her, and it's a random drop. Same thing with the Omega version. So if you want any of these bosses equips, you have to they're just a random drop. It's a pretty low drop too, so that's why like these lures exist. Is her support really good? Who, the Arachnid tiers? They're both some of the best mines equips out there, especially her Omega version. But yeah, so that's why lures exists though, so that you can just farm one specific boss. I think it's what, for 20 minutes you only see that boss and you never go up or down on your stage. So say I use a lure, I don't know, let's just pick this stupid dragon. So let's say I lure this guy, right? So activate a lure wave for this boss specifically. This will be the only boss that you'll find for the next 10 minutes. And while it's active, you will not go up or down in your depth. So your depth gauge will not go up or down. So it doesn't hurt if you lose any of the fights while the lure is active. But you also don't gain anything from beating the lured boss other than the chance of their equip boss or their equip dropping. And the other thing that it doesn't tell you, okay, so you see how like some of my lures are grayed out, right? So like I have 7 of Geozagnus, but I can't use its lure because so my record depth is 48, which means I can, until I see him again at a higher depth, I have to go down to 48 or below to use that lure, if that makes sense. So if you go to use a lure and it's grayed out, look at the record depth, and then if your depth's not, like if your depth's higher than the record depth, then you have to just go lower. And to do that, sorry, I know we're sidetracking here. So change floor. So I can go all the way back down to floor 10. But so if I wanted to fight him, then I would just go down to floor 45 because you don't want to go too far down, to be honest, unless you have to. Speaking of the fire boss, that's so funny. When's the second half of bosses going to be available? May 8th. Ellis is correct. But yeah, that's how lures work. So just make sure at the depth are lower than what the lure is for. All right, so did we go over his equip? I don't think so. I don't think we did. So his normal equip, so his normal variant equip is 4-star defense. Has a 50-second cooldown, increases all allies' magic resistance by 20%, and reduces all allies' physical resistance by 20% for 25 seconds. This is only strong if you're facing a magic only boss. Other than that is a trash equip. Don't ever use it unless it's, and even then there are other 4-star equips that can probably do what this does, but a little bit better and with no drawback. But if you didn't have anything else for magical defense for a 4-star slot, and you had to use this, just make sure nothing else in the stage does physical damage and you can use this. Otherwise, you put your team at risk. It's Omega variant. Where is this guy? Where is my Omega variant? I want J. J is really powerful for mines. So if you happen to reroll for J, count yourself lucky because you're going to have a really easy time in the mines compared to if you don't. Motherfucker, ditch me on red. Elise from the Walmart parking lot. Hello, Elise. Hello, don't murder me. Don't murder me. So his 5-star, or his Omega variant is a 5-star defense with the 35-second cooldown. increases all allies' physical resistance by 35%, and then reduces all allies' attack by 70% for 20 seconds. This is a trash equip. Don't ever use this. There are so many other equips out there that are 5-star physical or 5-star defense equips that you can probably get from unit of choice tickets, like from the 5-star ticket stuff that just does this thing without the reduced attack by 70%. So just don't ever use this equip. Really have Jay unawakened, to be honest. If you ascend Jay, you're going to have a really, really, really easy time in the mines compared to if you didn't have him. He wave clears like nothing. Left me at red twice. They asked me not to kill him. Yes. All right. Who's next? Who's next? Is it Freydal? Freydal. Who is this guy? Freydal. Is this the water bird? Yes. Freydal. What are you waiting for? Upgrade J. Yes. So the bluebird is what I like to call this boss. The bluebird. So this one's pretty easy. Just burn him and nuke him. So he gains massive evasion every time he uses his art, but as soon as you burn him, his negation goes away. LOL. So the only thing about him is once you get to the what's good law of the land. The only thing about him is once he gets to 50% HP, he has iframes, and then he just does a true art, freezing your team. So just bring freeze res or just bring raz, and time it with its 50% HP, and then just deal damage to him again and nuke him. So you technically have to do a double nuke on this guy. But other than that, just burn him, do damage, watch for the freeze at the 50% HP nuke, and then just do damage to him again and then die. Farm at 5+ right now. I wish you luck. I wish you luck. His Omega version is a little different. It's basically the same mechanic. So his Omega version's a little different. He has the same mechanic, but except on 75% HP, 50% HP, and 25% HP, he does the iframe nukes. So you can't really nuke him. You kind of do have to sustain him because you have to like triple nuke him, right? Because you have to take 75 to 50. No, you have to quadruple nuke him actually. So his Omega version, I wouldn't really farm his Omega version. I'm pretty sure his equips aren't that great either. But if you want to for the completion, just make sure you bring enough res to negate all 3 of the HP threshold nukes. But for his normal version, it's really easy. Just survive the 50% HP nuke and then just do a lot of damage to him. His equips. So his normal variant equip is a 4-star defense, has a 25-second cooldown, reduces all allies crit damage taken by 30%, and increases other damage taken by 20%. Again, super niche equip. Only bring this if the only thing that does damage to you in the stage is crit damage. Otherwise, you put your team at risk. There are other equips that negate or that give crit damage res, and there's other units like Sandstone that give crit damage res with no drawbacks. His Omega variant has a 5-star defense with a 55-second cooldown, reduces all allies attack by 50% for 15 seconds, but reduces all allies damage by 80% for 3 hits or for 15 seconds. Super niche. Bad equip. super niche, has a heavy drawback. Yeah, it reduces damage by 80%, but it's only for 3 hits, and a lot of bosses have like they hit a lot of times in a single second, so it doesn't really do anything for you. So that's another reason not to farm his Omega version. Not really great equip there. Who else? We got two left that we know of. So this guy, which is the Earth Dragon, Elpiminius, Earth Dragon, I guess. So he negates all earth damage. At 50% HP, does a True Arts, inflicting envenom. It's just a stronger poison that can't be cleansed, and then gains lifesteal over time. Nuke him with anything that's not earth. That's it. And then just bring like decent heals, I guess. You can't cleanse the like envenom thing, so you're always going to get hit by it, but just bring someone who can heal over time, and then just nuke him with non-earth units. And then his Omega version is literally the same thing. It's just he does his nuke twice. Use Shuna. Yes, Shuna's really good here too. But yeah, other than that, he's pretty straightforward. His equipment, so his normal version has a 4-star physical with a 35-second cooldown, and then reduces arts gauge by 10, but increases damage to weak element by 30% for 10 seconds. Not really a great equip, to be honest. There are just other 4-star physical equips that do either this or better with no decreasing of the arts gauge, but if you really needed to and you didn't have anything else, it's not horrible for the increased damage by 30%. Just make sure whatever you're using it on is strong to the boss's element. So if you're facing an earth boss and you're using this, make sure you're using it on a fire unit, if that makes any sense. His Omega version is a 5-star physical, has a 40-second cooldown, and then reduces all allies arts gauge by 20, increases all allies earth damage by 40% for 10 seconds. Again, not a horrible equip. If you didn't have anything else that increases earth damage by 40%, you could use this. If you use this though, or if you use the other one, like during an actual nuke, so say you had War God Fen and you're about to use this super art, use the super arts first, then proc this equip immediately after. If you use this equip right before you use the super arts, it will take 20 arts gauge, and you have to wait for his arts gauge to fill back up. So use the true art or super art first, and then pop the equip, so it doesn't drain your arts gauge and you still get the effect. Simple as that. All right. Last one that we know of right now, which is the Ice Wilk lady, the Ice Spirit lady. I dislike her. I will say that. She's definitely a pain in the butt. And again, the only time I've ever beaten her, it took me 4.5 minutes to do. I hate this lady. Styria. So, so she has fire damage immunity, but you can only damage her, or like she gains like you can damage her more when she's burning. So if you bring an equip or a unit that can burn, and then just have your damage be from a non-fire unit, you should be fine. But then she also has a thing where she only takes more and more damage every time you break her. So breaking her if like you're not doing enough damage, you can try to break her and do a little bit more damage. The reason why this boss is annoying though is because she has so many different layers that you have to do in order to do more damage to her, unless you just have units like Shadow, Holka, Roy, and Shiro to just like insta nuke. She just has too many things that you have to do damage to her, and if you don't accomplish those things, then you're gonna take too long to beat the stage, and then it's just not worth it. Bring freeze res. She freezes a lot, so bring freeze res. Someone like Human Rimuru works wonders here because his freeze res, you can pretty much pop it almost anytime you want, and its freeze res lasts for I think like 20 seconds. So it cures ailments. So if your units are frozen and Human Rimuru happens to not be frozen, pop his normal arts, everyone gets unfrozen, they get healed. The freeze res down stack as well, yeah. Again, Raz here is great, but the amount of time that she freezes you throughout the fight, you're only going to be able to use Raz basically once or maybe twice. So I don't know, this boss is just hella annoying, and I don't even think her equips are that great either. So her Omega version is literally the same thing. It's just she's stronger, has more freezes during the fight, has more freeze res down. And actually in the guide, officially made by the Discord, like the global Discord, literally for the Omega version, it says just skip this boss unless you want her equip or for collection. So I'm assuming her Omega version is just not even worth. I don't think it's an insta kill. It's not like Geozagnus, but I think she just has like all the same mechanics. It's just she does them more often and they hit harder, and she's just more tankier. So if you see her Omega version, just skip unless you really want the equip. Speaking of equips, onto her equips and what they do. So her normal version is a 4-star defense with a 30-second cooldown. It reduces all allies' fire damage taken by 30% for 15 seconds, and then has 100% to chance to free self for 7 seconds. So trash. I don't see why you'd ever want to use this, to be honest, like ever at all. Her Omega version is a 5-star defensive with a 30-second cooldown, increases damage taken by 15% for 120 seconds, which is stackable, and reduces all allies' water damage taken by 30%, increases all allies' freeze resistance by 100% for 20 seconds. Another trash equip. And that's it. That's all the ones that we know of so far. Those are all the bosses in the mines at the moment. Oh, that was a lot of talking and a lot of going over stuff for the past 2 hours. But thank you for everyone who made it this far and has stuck out. We're going to start winding down stream just because I'm hungry and want to go eat something. And I don't want Elise to kill me because I know she wants to play some Overwatch. A lot of info. Yes, I will be taking all of this and pretty much editing it down into separate videos. And I'm going to make one giant playlist for the mines bosses, and I'm just going to release video after video after video after video. That way, if you guys want to ever come back to this, you're not like, clicking on the 2-hour-long live stream and then like skimming through to see which one I'm talking about, because I know I do jump around. So I will be editing all of this down to be one giant playlist for you guys, and I'll try to post a playlist as soon as I can because I know mines aren't going to be here forever. But yeah, so without further ado, I think that's going to be it for the stream. Again, thank you all for making it this far and sticking it out with me. I know it was a lot, but I feel like this is something that a lot of you will be able to come back to and be able to go like, oh yeah, that's what this boss does. Or, oh, that's the gimmick to this boss. That's how you beat it. But anyways, without yapping any further, I will see you all in the next video. Later, have a good night, and good luck mining. Bye-bye. Will I give timelines? I will try to on the VOD as much as I can. But like I said, I'm going to be breaking this whole VOD up into just a bunch of different videos covering each of the bosses. So if you wanted to see a specific boss, all you have to do is click on the video. But yeah, goodbye. Bye-bye.